Pisces, this is going to be your reading for the upcoming full moon in Aquarius, which happens on the 3rd of August 2020. So this is going to be your forecast for the 2 weeks which follow. This is the waning moon cycle. So generally speaking, this is about what we need to release, what is coming to a head, what is coming to culmination. So let's get into reading and see what wants to come out. Just to say that this full moon does fall in the middle of the Lionsgate portal, which opens on the 26th of July, and will last until approximately the 12th of August. So this is basically the time of the year when Sirius is rising heliacally with the sun, at dawn. So if you're interested, check out my my website, because I've done a post all about this as part of the last lunar cycle, the new moon in Cancer. You might be interested in that. And also thank you to all those people that purchased my ebook on geomancy. I have had a couple of inquiries actually about the cards that I use. I've designed this particular casting cloth and cards myself. So people have been asking me, whether I would consider, just designing some cards to go with the book, which I'm very happy to do. I actually really like designing things. So I'm working on those at the moment. Do look out for them in the future. Obviously, I will let you guys know when they're ready and when the book is available in print form. So to give these a good shuffle. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's cut the deck. That was a bit squiff, but anyway, let's see what wants to come out. Oh, okay, interesting. So we've got Jupiter in your sign, Pisces. This is like Tisha, which is all about happiness and joy, expansion, enthusiasm, basically good vibes. So this is really what you are wanting to cultivate during this particular full moon phase, which is wonderful. I'm really thrilled for you. When it comes to 4th house, so this is home, family, and where we live, you've got Mercury in Gemini. So this is the geomantic figure of Albus, and Albus is about a certain degree of logic or detachment. So it's about perhaps making decisions, logical decisions, when it comes to a domestic situation, for example. Maybe you're thinking about buying a property, selling a property, something of that ilk, your home. Albus can also be about fresh start. So this is the blank sheet of paper. So it could be that on some level you are deciding to move home, you're relocating, or you have relocated and you're kind of starting fresh during this particular phase. So that's interesting. Okay, so no wonder you are keen on kind of getting your happiness back. It does look as though there's been some kind of breakup or separation here when it comes to a significant other. Now this doesn't have to be a marriage partner. It can also be other kinds of significant relationships, one-to-one. So it can be a business partnership, for example. It can be a very dear friend, but on some level it looks like you are mourning the loss of a relationship. So I'm sorry to hear that, but I can see why you are keen on really sort of focusing on happiness. This may not be something new, because you have had in the last couple of readings indications that possibly of a divorce or some kind of breakup. So it's possible that you're just in the grieving stages, but you're kind of keen to move past that now and move into some sort of happier energy. Wow, okay, so more good news here. So here in your 10th house of career and kind of soul purpose and future goals and direction, you've got Acquisitio. So this is the other form of Jupiter. We've got Jupiter here in Pisces, and this is Jupiter in Sagittarius. So Acquisitio is all about gain, sort of reaping the fruits of our hard work. It's about recognition, success, but usually some kind of financial gain. So it looks as though all your hard work when it comes to career is paying off. So it's possible that at this full moon you might be enjoying some kind of celebration, perhaps some sort of landmark, or sort of you know, some kind of event has occurred that that is worth celebrating. So I'm really pleased for you. But I'm just going to pause while I do the rest of the geomantic conversions, and we can have a look in a bit more depth at what's going on. Welcome back. As you can see, I've done all the conversions, so let's get into reading in more depth. Now, a good place to begin, I think, is with the full moon itself. So for you, this falls in your 12th and your 6th houses. So the moon will be here in Aquarius in your 12th house, and the sun will be in your 6th house. So generally speaking, at full moons, we are either something is coming to fruition, or something is closing out, or, you know, needs to be released. Now, it's interesting that we've got Draconis here, which is all about the ending of a cycle. So for you, it looks as though you're working on releasing what no longer serves you. Given that we've got Draconis and the moon in your 12th house, I think this is going to be about beliefs that you need to let go of. Now, we have two kinds of beliefs. We have unconscious beliefs, subconscious patterning that we often pick up, you know, during the first 7 years of life. We pick up from our parents, and of course then on top of that there is kind of social conditioning. Now, this is more the beliefs of the 9th house. This is about your philosophical outlook on life, your religious beliefs, your cultural kind of values. So given that we've got Kaseb repeated here and Draconis repeated, I would say that this full moon for you is all about releasing beliefs that no longer serve you, both subconsciously and consciously. Now, it's interesting because if we look at your 6th house, this is where the sun will be. We've got Rubeus here, and Rubeus has come up for you, I think, in at least your last 2 readings. So it looks as though this isn't, whatever that ongoing issue is, that either has to do with kind of anger, resentment, some kind of passion, a deep involvement. Sometimes it can also be things like addictions or vice, obsessions. But, you know, because we've got Rubeus here in your 8th house, I do feel that this is some kind of habit that you need to kick. It's either like an OCD kind of everyday thing that you're repeating, or it is some kind of addiction. The 8th house is the house of vice, so it's the house of sex, death, taxes, and shared resources. So given that we've got Tristia here in your 7th and your 5th house, which is both of these are about romantic relationships, but they can also be about a significant other, in this case children, or somebody that you have a creative partnership with, if if you're in business with somebody. So it could be that there's some kind of resentment. You know, if you do work with somebody, there could be resentment here. This is also the house of work and everyday kind of work situations. Or it could be shared resources. So if you're, for example, splitting up with somebody, this is the house of divorce, settlements, and, you know, working out the finances, the division of assets. So this could also be causing enormous resentment. And so that's just something to be aware of, given that, you know, full moons happen across 2 houses, the 6th and the 12th. So this is what you're going to be aware of consciously, and this is what it may trigger for you unconsciously. This is where your emotions are, this is where your thoughts are. So this is what you're aware of, and this is sometimes what you're not necessarily aware of. So it could be that whatever this is triggering stuff for you here in your subconscious that needs to be released. And the reason that I say this, it's kind of backed up almost by what's happening in the rest of the chart. So the sun and the moon will be making two positive aspects to Chiron in Aries, which is for you happens in your 2nd house. Now, Chiron is the planet associated with healing, so an opportunity here for release and for healing. Now, notice that we've got Letitia twice here. As I said, this is about emotional happiness. It's about positive feelings. So given that we've got Chiron here, I do think that by releasing whatever these difficult emotions are, these difficult beliefs, you really can come into that happiness, which to an extent I think is not just emotional happiness, but it's also how valued you feel and how much you value yourself. So there's a double element here of self-worth on one hand, which feeds into this 12th house, and then on the other there could be money, or sort of issues around possessions or money, which feeds into the 6th and the 8th house, the house of work and the house of shared possessions. So I definitely feel that all these areas are linked. And then in terms of other astrology that's going on around this time, we also have a number of aspects between Mercury in Cancer here in your 5th house and several planets in Capricorn here in your 11th house of friends and social networks. So this is calling on us to try and find a balance in terms of the way that we make decisions or the way that we express ourselves. Mercury is the planet of not just travel and commerce, but also of the intellect, self-expression and communication. So it's going to be making a series of oppositions to the outer planets in Capricorn. And so for me, this is all about how we make decisions and trying to get that balance right between the heart and the head when it comes to making decisions. So you can see how it feeds into this energy here of the full moon. Now at this time we also have the Lionsgate portal energy activated now, and this is important for your 5th house, because Sirius is in Cancer, and this is where Sirius will be the sort of the main star that will be activated during this time. Now I have done a reading, an I Ching divination on the Lionsgate portal, and I do recommend that you watch that, because this I Ching divination specifically deals with how to make decisions and to respond to situations during difficult times. And I think it's particularly relevant for you, Pisces, because of the 5th house kind of overtones of the message, particularly the sort of hexagram 16, and also because of this dynamic that the fact that Mercury and Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto have in terms of this area of your chart. So as I say, do go and watch that. I will link it in the at the end of this video so you can find it easily. But really what it's saying in essence is that in order to make good decisions, we have to learn to tell the difference between our intuition, which is our link to the higher dimensions and to our soul, so the higher part of our mind and our heart on one hand, as opposed to our kind of traumas and knee-jerk responses on the other, which are very often based in kind of fight or flight types of responses. So these are the unconscious patterns that we've developed over time due to sort of parental conditioning and our experiences, our life experiences, and very often they can make us repeat patterns over and over that don't necessarily end well, or that end up sabotaging us when it comes to what we want. And in your case, you really want to find happiness, and this is the opposite of what we're seeing in your 5th and your 7th houses. So when it comes to relationships, this is not what you've been experiencing. Certainly in the past, this has kind of come up several times in your last couple of readings about either a broken home or a major relationship kind of coming to an end. So I really feel that this is a kind of a pivotal point for you, Pisces, where you really can heal something, a very old pattern that keeps giving you the same kind of results when it comes to relationships. And if you can get this right now, I really feel that whatever relationship comes in next for you, you can really sort of turn things around. You can really start a new pattern, and that is exactly what your cards are saying. Capricornus is about a new cycle, a new karmic cycle. So this I feel will begin for you at the next new moon, and what you're doing now is you're working on what you need to close out, which is these limiting beliefs, which we'll kind of talk about now. So these are the limiting conscious beliefs, and these are the limiting subconscious beliefs. Now 9th house, as I say, is all those kind of there's things that we acquire over time in terms of our philosophy or our outlook on life. And I think that, you know, with Khase in this position, it's kind of saying that those principles or those beliefs have kind of almost imprisoned you. They've really limited you in terms of being able to expand into this energy. This is Saturn in Capricorn energy, so it's really about feeling imprisoned, feeling cut off from other people, feeling cut off from spirit, feeling cut off from your essential nature. So yes, I think this is a kind of a major turning point for you, and if you spend the next 2 weeks doing a bit of soul searching, working out, you know, what this is, and also possibly seeing what comes up, what gets highlighted for you at this particular full moon, you know, in the outside world. I think this will give you a clue to what you need to let go of, you know, over the 2 weeks of the waning moon. Now, I don't want to dwell entirely on the negative. You do have some really positive energy here as well. As I said, you've got Acquisitio here in your 10th house, which is about gain and acquisition when it comes to careers. So I do feel as though you can really take some strides forward when it comes to your life purpose, your career, your goals for the future. And then, you know, when it comes to your 11th house of social networks and groups, the area where we've got all the major planets in Capricorn, you've got this really positive geomantic figure of Fortuna Major, which is the Sun in Leo. And of course, we are in Leo season at the moment. You know, the Sun's just entered Leo quite recently. So Fortuna Major here is about success and about good luck. It's about that kind of serendipitous energy, where things just seem to kind of, the right person in the right place just kind of turns up. And I think that for you, what this is saying is that you need to look at what happens in terms of, you know, friendships, groups and social networks now, because it could be that somebody comes into your life now, or someone comes to your attention, or contacts you, or you contact, and they have a kind of particular they open up an opportunity for you, they make you see something in a new light, they have the sort of the one piece of advice that you need to really sort of like shift, or they have a certain type of expertise that will perhaps help to advance your career, for example. So yes, I think you know, there is a lot going on during this particular waning moon cycle. A lot of it is going to be quite chaotic and sort of tumultuous, and for you, you know, that's probably going to be centered on the 5th house. Oh, the other thing I should say, of course, is that Khase is also about foreign travel and sort of foreign cultures, so and publishing. So travel restrictions may also feed into whatever the sadness is here in your 5th house. So it could be that you can't travel, that you feel trapped in your home, for example. It could be that you know, you are not able to travel to see a love interest, for example, or you may be separated from a child, or a child may be sort of feeling lonely or separated, and you're having to kind of deal with that. But there's this definite kind of not a lack of joy, but just a kind of a need to press the reset button here so that you can get this joy back, and that may also be about trying to find ways to get some R&R, you know, despite the current restrictions in terms of social distancing and traveling, because 5th and 12th house can both be about taking a break. So, you know, it may also be that at the full moon you decide to sort of, you know, go to, not necessarily go to a spa, but maybe take a retreat of some kind, in order to just sort of get yourself towards yourself, to sort of get your mojo back. So that's something else, you know, worth considering. But as I say, you know, I can see that you are keen to sort of get your happiness back, and you seem quite determined to kick whatever these habits are, these difficult habits. So all hats off to you. good luck. I hope it goes well, and let me know in the comments below, you know, what your experience was like over the, you know, this period. If you've enjoyed this reading, then do hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to be notified about any upcoming readings that I do. And also check me out on social media, because I do regular posts there about, you know, the upcoming astrological cosmic weather. So that helps to supplement, you know, what I do here on YouTube. But anyway, I hope you are okay. I hope that you navigate this great, Pisces. Sending you lots of love, and I'll catch you again in a couple of weeks.